Good day and welcome to Mayor King's TV News. Now to begin the news, here are the headlines read by Tiela Emanuela. Delta Host Community inaugurates new leadership and assures oil companies of peaceful coexistence. Take It Back movement set to protest over insecurity and economic hardship come June 12, 2025. Delta monarch alleges conspiracy against Tompolo and Otuaro. Turkey mourns with Nigeria over victims of Niger flood. On entertainment, Nigerians Joy Rami makes top 20 Miss World 2025. On the business news, federal government plans 77,400 housing units nationwide. On the foreign scene, UK to build up to 12 new attack submarines. Plus, Bayer Leverkusen to demand €50 million for Boniface. Details in a moment. The people of Ozobo Federated Community, a host of multinational oil companies in Plateau local government area of Delta State, over the weekend inaugurated a new leadership to oversee the community's affairs for the next 2 years. At a ceremony held in the community square, the oldest man in Ozobo, Pa Feyenahan Ayeya, administered the oath of office to the newly elected Amananawe traditional ruler, Chief Sunday Kupsun. During the event, Pa Ayeya announced an extension of the community's leadership tenure from 1 to 2 years. During the event, Pa Ayeya announced an extension of the community's leadership tenure from 1 to 2 years for administrative convenience. The declaration also affirmed by Chief Kupsin. In turn, Chief Kupsin administered the oath of office to the new community chairman, Prince Dobra Barrow, along with 19 executive members. In his inaugural address, Prince Barrow expressed gratitude to the community for the trust placed in him, promising to promote unity, peace, and progress throughout his tenure. He also pledged to maintain peace and foster a good working relationship with multinational oil companies operating in the area, particularly Renaissance Africa Energy Limited. On infrastructure, the new leadership called on Governor Sheriff Oboyeri to revisit the Torogbene Ozobo axis of the Tuomo, Ogbagbene, Tamigbe, Torogbene Ozobo Road project. The Take It Back movement has announced plans to hold a nationwide protest on June 12 to draw attention to the country's worsening insecurity, shrinking civic space, and growing economic hardship. In a statement on Monday by its national coordinator, Juwon Sanyaolu, the movement condemned the rising wave of insecurity in the Middle Belt and northern parts of the country, pointing to continued attacks in Benue, Plateau, southern Kaduna, and other states. According to Sanyaolu, communities have been wiped out while thousands remain displaced, with the government either turning a blind eye or denying the scale of the carnage. Sanyaolu also criticized the federal government's alleged crackdown on dissent, citing arrest of protesters, detention of activists, and the targeting of journalists and social media users under the Cybercrime Act. He described these actions as part of a broader campaign to silence opposition and stifle democratic expression. However, rejecting official celebrations of Democracy Day, he urged Nigerians to take to the streets in peaceful protest, calling on workers, students, civil society groups, artisans, and members of the diaspora to join the action. The Ovie of Ijere Kingdom and chairman of host communities of Nigerian Producing Oil and Gas, OSCON, Traditional Rulers and Elders Advisory Council, His Royal Majesty King Obokoko Monday Whiskey and Odure I, has raised the alarm over an alleged conspiracy to discredit and destabilize key players in the Niger Delta security and development framework. In a statement issued yesterday and made available to newsmen in Asaba, Delta State, the revered monarch claimed that a group of enemies of Nigeria have launched a coordinated media campaign against Government Ekpemupolo, popularly known as Tompolo, and Dr Dennis Otuaro, the current administrator of the Presidential Amnesty Programme, PAP. According to King Whiskey, the ongoing attacks are part of a deliberate plot to disrupt the operations of Tantita Security Services Limited, a company contracted by the federal government to combat pipeline vandalism and crude oil theft in Niger Delta region. He further alleged that the same forces are targeting Otuaro due to his reforms in the amnesty program, which he said are visible and transformative. Meanwhile, Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited has commissioned the Isoko Youth House at Ozoro, Delta State, in fulfillment of its youth empowerment pledge in the Niger Delta. Turkey has expressed sympathy to Nigeria following the devastating flood that hit Mokwa and surrounding communities in Niger State. In a statement released on Sunday, the Turkish Ministry of Foreign Affairs conveyed condolences to the Nigerian government and the families of those affected by the disaster. The statement expressed sorrow over the loss of lives and extensive damage caused by the flooding in Mokwa region. In response to the disaster, President Bola Tinubu on Saturday dispatched a high-level delegation to Niger State to assess the situation and support relief efforts. According to figures released by the Niger State government, at least 151 people have been confirmed dead and more than 3,000 residents have been displaced. The floods have also destroyed over 260 homes, township roads, and major bridges in Mokwa and Rabba, compounding the humanitarian crisis in the area. Now on entertainment news. History was made on Saturday in Hyderabad, India, when 21-year-old model Opal Sushata Shangris was crowned the 72nd Miss World Beauty Pageant winner. For the first time in its 74 years of existence, a representative from Thailand won the pageant. Opal also won the contest multimedia component and topped the contestant app leaderboard with over 2.3 million views. Also, the Nigerian representative at the competition, Joy Rima, also known as Queen Tiwa, made it to the top 20 finalists. Recalling that the competition kicked off on May 7, 2025, with 108 contestants, and it was pruned down to 40 quarterfinalists, 10 from each continental region: Africa, America, Caribbean, Europe, and Asia and Oceania. Meanwhile, Nigeria's representative, a 24-year-old University of Port Harcourt graduate, has described her time in the competition as a journey of transformation. Queen Tiwa, who made it into the top 20 in the competition, also joined four other African contestants in the semi-finals: Cameroon's Princess Icy, Ethiopia's Asset Dereji, Namibia's Selma Kamanya, and Tunisia's Lamis Redisi. Now on the business news. The federal government has announced a landmark initiative under the Renewed Hope agenda to deliver 77,400 social housing units across Nigeria and launch new Renewed Hope cities in Lagos, Abuja, and Kano in a move to tackle the country's housing deficit. This was disclosed by the Minister of State for Housing and Urban Development, Yusuf Atta, in a statement recently. He reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to solving housing challenges through major investments and partnership. Noting the scope of the ministry's social housing efforts, the minister announced the nationwide rollout. Additionally, the social housing initiative will deliver 77,400 housing units, 100 in each of the 774 local government areas. Critically, the minister noted that a significant portion of the new homes will be dedicated to vulnerable Nigerians, 30% of the 77,400 social housing units will be given to the non-income Nigerians, he stated, while commending President Tinubu for maintaining his stand on the 30%. Now on the foreign scene, the UK Prime Minister has announced the UK will build up to 12 new attack submarines as the government unveils its major defense review on Monday. The new conventionally armed, nuclear-powered submarines will replace the seven-strong Astute class from the late 2030s onwards. The review is expected to recommend the armed forces move to war-fighting readiness to deter growing threats faced by the UK. The Prime Minister is also expected to confirm the UK will spend £15 billion on its nuclear war ahead programme. Alongside the UK's nuclear-armed submarines, the new vessels would keep Britain and NATO safe for decades. However, Sir Keir stated the danger posed by Russia cannot be ignored, and the best way to deter conflict was to prepare for it. Now in the world of sport. According to German outlet Sport Bild, Bayern Leverkusen have lowered their asking price for Boniface to the tune of €50 million as they are looking forward to offload him this summer. Boniface has been tipped to leave the Bay Arena this summer following the departure of Xabi Alonso to Real Madrid. The Nigerian international was close to the completing of a big money move to Saudi Arabia professional league club Al Nassr during the winter transfer window. According to German news outlet, Bayer Leverkusen could let the forward leave this summer to find new signings. The 24-year-old has been linked with a move to clubs in the Premier League and Germany. Boniface scored 11 goals in 27 outings across all competitions for Leverkusen in the 2024/2025 season. Now, to end the news, a recap on our headlines. Delta host communities inaugurates new leadership and assures oil companies of peaceful coexistence. Taking Back movement set to protest over insecurity and economic hardship from June 12, 2025. Delta monarch alleges conspiracy against Tompolo and Otuaro. Turkey mourns with Nigeria over victims of Niger flood. On entertainment, Nigerians Joy Rami makes top 20 Miss World 2025. On the business news, federal government plans 77,400 housing units nationwide. On the foreign scene, UK to build up to 12 new attack submarines. In the world of sports, Bayern Leverkusen to demand €50 million for Boniface. That's the news as read and edited by Tinela Emanuela. Thanks for watching.